All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Up and Down matches.
Yes, it is time again for another Up and Down match. We're definitely going to see some more games than we did yesterday. There's not quite a clear leader in this group yet. We've got a guy with 2 losses, of course.
There's a clear loser.
There's a clear loser so far. Kyrix is down there 0-2, but other than that, we've got guys with a loss and a win. And well, there you go. There's our results so far. We've got 1 win, 1 loss for Lucira. Same for MC. Czech Prime and jjakji both with 1 win and 0 losses. And Kyrix down at the bottom.
This is actually going to be another really important match because jjakji and Czech both at 1-0. And so whoever wins this game, one of them is going to be at 2-0. And that is basically 1 win away from clinching a victory. Because once you get those 3 wins out of your 4 games, it's pretty hard to not
In most cases, that's
advance.
all it takes. Yeah.
So that's pretty good stuff. If you can get
Absolutely.
that 2-0 record. jjakji versus Czech. It's going to be on, let me double check the map here.
Map is going to be
Belshir Beach.
Oh, okay. So Czech Prime, you know, he's a Zerg player. Zergs tend to do a little bit better on Belshir Beach. Terrans kind of have a harder time. The kind of generally accepted idea on Belshir Beach is to take your natural and then actually expand towards the gold and then push out across that way. That's how we've seen most Terrans kind of try to handle this map. So we'll have to see if jjakji decides to go with that as well. Played a very economic style against Lucira.
Of course, the alternative, you can also, the way the map is laid out, there's kind of expansions across the top and expansions across the bottom, and so you can kind of go that way as well. It's not quite as good of position. It's a little harder to defend, but sometimes if you're on the offensive, taking those bases is a little bit easier because it's farther away from your enemy.
It's a big area to cover. There's a lot of running room on Belshir Beach. It gives you a lot of room to flank and things as a Zerg player.
A lot of ins and outs, a lot of what have you.
Yeah, but jjakji just played so well in the game on Terminus that it's hard to really give an advantage to Czech, especially after Czech has had a rough time in the past couple months. I think he's playing a lot better this time around. But is he good enough to get into Code S? I don't know. I think that's kind of debatable right now. Well, I think this game's going to tell us a lot.
Let me drop some numbers on you.
All right.
Czech is 13 wins and 25 losses versus Terran in his career.
Okay.
So he's actually horrible at versus Terran, statistically speaking.
I wonder how many of those would come in the last,
Well, out of his last 10, he's been 4-6, so not quite as bad.
Okay.
But he did lose to Ganji recently. He managed to beat Nada in the GSTL, but he also lost to Hack. He lost to Noblesse, lost to Supernova. The only person he's beaten recently is a Terran player called Buja, who I don't know anything about.
Okay.
Played in the 3D tournament. So really has not been proving himself very much against any decent Terrans lately. So I think definitely he's going to be, at the very least, feeling some pressure here.
Yeah.
Since, he's got to be feeling almost a little bit nervous, thinking to himself, oh, man, I haven't beaten any Terrans recently. What the heck? How am I going to beat jjakji?
Just from his experience, I feel like Czech actually is a better ZVZer than a ZVTer. Like you said, he does tend to have some problems in ZVT, but jjakji is, still a newcomer. So, I don't know. I just want the game to start, man. I'm sick of talking about it. I want to see what these guys are going to do.
I am really looking forward to it as well. Unfortunately, they both have to get into the game.
I know, yeah. They're not even in the lobby
not even
yet.
in the game lobby yet.
When we've got 5 players like this, the players have to be kind of switching booths sometimes, and so that means that sometimes settings need to be, reset and things like that. Yeah. So it does take a little bit longer.
We've got the perfect amount of booths for, like, the Code S groups where there's 4 players. Yes. They each have their own booth, but and that 5th one in for the new Code Up and Down format.
Well, apparently that 5th mystery booth from the start of the broadcast disappeared right now.
The 5th mystery booth is around here somewhere, I guess. And we're going to get to see Lucira walking behind us. Just a second. Enough. There he is.
Yep.
Mosey on over to his booth.
Wonder when his hair is going to get light enough to stand on end. And he's going to power up and go Super Saiyan. So many people are tweeting me that on Twitter, saying that he's basically going Super Saiyan. I think it's going to be hard for Lucira to actually go Super Saiyan. You need to get really angry to go Super Saiyan the first time, If you watch the series, it only happens in extreme circumstances. But I don't know, another loss, he might be getting to that level, We'll see little particles of dust and stuff, and rocks start rising from the booth around him.
And then he's going to scream for 3 episodes
that's
straight.
Right. And everyone's just going to stare at him, and their eyes are just going to jiggle a little bit. They'll be like, Lucira, That's what it always is. They just say the person's
Doa,
name and their eyes jiggle.
Hey, Doa, what does the scouter say about Lucira's APM?
It's over 300 at
what,
least.
300?
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
You know,
Former
actually,
piano player, so I'm not surprised he has very nimble fingers.
Yeah, he actually is known for having really, really high APM. You know the funny thing about that whole like over 9,000 scouter thing? 9,000 was like nothing compared to what they had at the end of that series, man. It was like they had people with like a billion power level
they
or
had
something
to,
at that point.
I mean, you always have to make it the next guy more of a hardcore baddie than the previous guy.
Of course.
So they have to get a little bit more powerful, and then Goku has to get a little bit more powerful than them, and then the bad guy has to be a little bit more. So, yeah, I mean, in the very beginning of the series, I think 1,000 was like a huge deal.
Well, it just gets like ridiculous.
Like when
after a
Vegeta
while.
showed up for the first time, he had like a power level of 1,000 or something like that, and he was the biggest baddie ever. I don't know. I don't remember if that's actually the number, but
it's like Goku will have like a power level of like 12 or something, and they'll be like, "This guy has a power level of 64 million. How are you going to beat him, Goku?" And they always find some way. You know, he went in that room where it was like every minute on the outside was like, or every hour on the outside was a year on the inside.
Yep.
So he just trained for like a decade.
I was realizing the other day that that's basically what Korea is for StarCraft 2 pros.
Yeah, it is.
Like Korea is
leaving.
the gravity chamber.
It is.
Where you train at 10 times gravity. Like, that's what Korea is. And people come here just specifically to train in this environment to try and get an advantage from that.
Not only do you train in the extra gravity, you're wearing like the 500-pound like vest and like the 100-pound armbands and everything, doing handstand push-ups. Hey, look, there are the guys we're going to watch in this game. We have NSSO jjakji on the right, checkprime.we on the left, and our map at the bottom, our up and down logo going along kind of the middle center of the map, kind of a border at the top and at the bottom.
Yep. Chairs behind each player, both on the left and the right.
Keyboards directly in front of each of them. Air conditioners slightly behind and to the right
and
of each player.
Doa and Moltrap on the mic. Here we go. Let's get into this game on Belshire Beach is the location of this one. Let's find out who's going to take a 2-0 lead.
That song is going to haunt my dreams, Moltrap. On the left side of the map on Belshire Beach, we have our red Zerg player. He is. Wow, that was fast.
Check Prime.
Oh, the logo just got a little bit eager. His keyboard really does look pink, man. I don't know.
I think it is.
I think it actually might be pink. That did not look like a trick of the light that time. Not on the right side of the map. We have our blue Terran player played very well against Lucira. He is. jjakji. His keyboard is fairly normal looking.
That's boring.
Actually, that's the most common keyboard of all the Brood War players. They all use that one. Thanks to Pepsi, G-Skill, and Ola eBook for sponsoring the GSL.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks to these players for training so hard and showing us good games.
That's what they always try and do.
Yep.
If you ever watch an interview with a pro gamer from Korea, that's all they always say.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best to show good games to my fans.
I like that. I like the emphasis on entertaining games that the players have here. I mean, obviously they play to win above all else, but they do try to put on a good show for the fans as well.
Yeah. There's a couple players that do that more than others, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that's actually always been a priority of boxers. It's one of the reasons why he's such a big deal is he always tries to please the fans. Even if he loses a game, he'll do some kind of a crazy nuke rush just to make it be fun.
Oh, he always nukes at the end of TPPs when he's in the lead, too. We see that quite a bit.
I feel like White Ra's kind of the same as well.
White Ra's just really smart. That's all there is to it there, man. I mean, although he does probably want to be entertaining as well, I would imagine. There's a lot of Scantipedes on this map, man.
Yeah, man. They like the water. They like salt water.
They do?
I just made that up. I don't know.
Well, they might. They look like they breathe air, though, so I think overall
maybe they're amphibious.
Maybe.
They do look kind of like a lobster in a way, actually.
Lobsters aren't amphibians.
I know, but they're like a lobster, so they might have lobster-esque. I don't know.
The crocodile hunter's going to haunt you in your dreams for that, Moltrap.
They kind of look like giant earwigs also. And hold that thought, there's a little bit of a bunker rush going on here. He's having to pull some drones off. Zerglings are on the way, but they're not going to be quite out. Time he has to pull these drones off first before the bunker completes.
Well, Czech's going to lose some mining time here trying to get that Marine. Looks like he's going to be just fine, though. Yeah, jjakji probably going to have to cancel that bunker. Yep, little bit of pressure, more just to get the drones to stop mining for a while than anything. Looks like it's probably going to be a reactor Hellion expand for jjakji. Keeping his barracks and his reactor back a little bit, though. I like that. Trying to do everything you can to kind of withhold information from Lucira. Usually don't see players go to that great of a length, you know, which is kind of nice to see.
Oh, you let the Zergling in.
Oh.
Nope, doesn't want to get let the Zergling in, although I think the Zergling could probably run up to the front and see that.
Should be able to. Yep, he does.
Sees the factory, but not the reactor.
Oh, that is actually pretty big. Yeah, he doesn't see the add-on that's on the factory. He doesn't even see that the factory has an add-on. But as soon as these Hellions pop out, he's going to see 2 of them.
That's true. That kind of reveals it.
The end. And he's just going to make 2 right into siege tanks, it looks like. Although he might go blue flame.
We're going to see in a moment.
Yep, it is blue flame. All right.
Go.
Not bad. Usually if it is siege mode, we see people make 4 Hellions before they switch the buildings back over. Just in the games I've seen lately.
So he's going to try and just get a lot of map control with these Hellions. And once he has a number of blue flame Hellions out, it's basically going to make him immune to Zerglings.
Yeah.
And he might try and force some roaches. Although sometimes forcing roaches is not a good thing because roaches hurt if you only have Hellions on the map.
That's true. Now, I think it looks like what jjakji is gearing up for is kind of one of those Slayer's Terran style Marine Blue Flame Hellion medevac pushes where you drop the Marines on the high ground. This is actually a really good map to do something like that. Could do something completely different, but that's kind of what it's starting to look like. Oh, he's going to get this Overlord too. Nice little snipe there.
Not quite going to supply block check, but always hurts to lose an Ovi.
Withholds more scouting information, and yeah, Czech is getting very, very prepared for Hellions. You saw the Evo chamber going up there. Spine Crawler there as well, but that doesn't really protect you against the type of push that jjakji may very well be doing.
Yeah, he is getting out a medevac right now. He is expanding off this, so it's not going to be like an all-in or anything like that.
Oh yeah, of course.
But we do have a nice defense over here by Czech. He actually has a couple Spine Crawlers. He's got a couple Queens sitting around. He's got an Evo Chamber blocking the path. He's got Zerglings blocking the path. So he's really, really well defended against some kind of Hellion run by. But all he has is Zerglings, so it might still be tough for him to fend this off. And the Overlord is going to supply block Czech when it dies.
Yep. And he's going to pick up those Marines with the medevac. And I would not be surprised one bit, Moltrap, if he didn't fly him right to the main. Oh, but first he has to fly right through an Overlord and let Czech know exactly what he's doing. Whoops. Yep, but he is heading for the main. So this will be that Marine drop with the Blue Flame Hellions on the low ground. He can ferry the Hellions up as well, bypass the defenses of Czech Prime. And how is Czech going to respond to this? He doesn't have a lot of Lings. Oh, losing everything there, but a Ling counterattack for Czech. He's going to take some damage from this, though.
Yeah, this is actually doing a lot of damage. He's killed all the Zerglings. He's starting to kill the Queens off now. Nicely placed Spine Crawler, but he is able to avoid it a little bit. Here he goes in, and the Zerglings, on the other hand, though, have completely invaded the natural.
Yeah,
he did get his deep weapon, but he's going to have to sacrifice his expansion to save his main there.
Oh, and deciding to go after the Queen rather than the drones, surprisingly enough. I gotta say, jjakji didn't exactly play this as well as he could have. He lost a lot of Marines just to the Spine Crawler rather than microing those. So, yeah, looks like he still might kill some drones here.
That's really what he needs to get, is he needs to get some major kills on those drones.
Yeah, right now this really hasn't been as worth it as it could have been.
Pick those up, get them out of there, they're all about to die. There he goes.
Oh, man. Survives with just 3 Hellions. Now let's go back down to the main, do the natural of jjakji. Yeah, look at that. Lings there, and they're actually going to surround everything. Oh, Czech Prime. Doing a lot of damage to jjakji.
jjakji moving out really prematurely there. He thought he could just retake his natural, but he only had a few Marines there.
Well, that type of push that jjakji did can be so strong, but he just did not execute it very well. He left his main relatively undefended, and on a big map like Belshir Beach where it's wide open like that, it's way too dangerous to do something.
And he put on a lot of pressure, and he killed a lot of Zerglings, but he didn't get too many drones. So
he's way behind right now.
Only got 14 drones, so he's actually behind in the harvester count at this moment.
Yep. Well, he's not even able to mine off his second, too. I mean, he's just way behind in every regard. Finally moving some SCVs out there, but definitely giving the advantage right now to Czech Prime. He's going to be able to, well, he should be able to clean up these Zerglings with the Blue Flame Hellions. They're not on creep or anything like that, so the Hellions will do okay. Yep, chases them away.
Another hatchery going up, just a macro hatch at the expansion and a third base going up for Czech Prime.
Czech Prime's in a great position right now. I mean, he can just sit back, drone up. He knows that jjakji has to play really defensive right now, and yeah, Czech Prime just has everything going for him. jjakji maybe thinking of doing a drop or two to try to even things up.
Yeah,
possibly.
Well, jjakji has a bit worse economy, but he actually has a much larger army at this point. So Czech does have to be a little bit concerned.
There is that. Yeah.
You know, jjakji does have a lot of Marines. At this point, he's got a couple dozen Marines. He's got Stim now as well. And really all Czech has, let me check the unit tab, all he has is 13 Zerglings. So he's got to be a little bit concerned right now. Now, Spire is going to pop here in a minute. He's going to be able to get out probably about 10 Mutalisks.
Now, here's kind of the interesting thing with this, is I really, really like how Czech's playing this. He's getting Baneling speed, he's getting Burrow as well. Like you said, the Spire is almost done.
Ooh,
he's going to see this fairly
move out.
soon.
He's going to move out before that Spire's finished.
Well, you know.
Not quite. I don't know if it's going to land before the Spire finishes.
You know, in retrospect, I think he may have econned a little bit too hard there. Right now, he doesn't have a whole lot to defend against this. Didn't really have anything outside of jjakji's base to scout that right away either. Nice Sim City there is going to prevent the Hellions from running in too fast, but overall, this is going to be really dangerous. Some Banelings on the way, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, those Banelings are his saving grace. If he can land them, he needs to land those Banelings so badly.
Oh, he's going to lose his third here too. Yep.
Yeah, Czech's just going to sacrifice that third. If he can keep his natural, he'll still be in an okay position. So he's going to try and go around the bottom. Actually, he's going to try and go do a split and try and attack from both directions if jjakji pushes in, but jjakji is falling back. He's not going to try and go for an attack.
jjakji doesn't have siege mode yet either, which is a bit surprising. Very late in the game to be getting siege mode. Did take out the third and fell back. Smart play by jjakji. He's really making the most of this right now.
Really smart. And it's a good thing too, because you know he was still on creep. The creep hadn't receded, and Czech had about a couple dozen Banelings about to come in, so he really could have easily just lost his whole army, and then Czech would have really had the advantage.
Now I'm curious to see where jjakji is going to try to take his third. He's making his command center up on that high ground between his main and his natural. I would have to imagine he's thinking of taking that at the gold. He could take it at the third, but it's just so easy for Zerg to counterattack there that you see Terrans kind of tend to avoid it. I mean, that's where the Banelings are morphing right now. Oh, is he just going to burrow these? Ooh, that is interesting. Oh, that's such a good place to burrow them, too, because of the pathing of the Marines. Yep, looks like he's going to come in, try to do some damage to the SCVs. Nice targeting the Banelings there. Not a single Marine takes damage from it. Really well done.
Tries to burrow those Banelings in the middle of the mineral line to sneak them in later, but didn't quite work.
Yep.
So yeah, Czech, he is actually up to 44 SCVs right now, so he's mining pretty well at both his bases. His main is getting close to mined out, though.
Oh, and look at that. The forces don't go out the direction that he was maybe anticipating. He's got more burrowed Banelings at the watchtower, though. jjakji doesn't see that with a scan. He's just going to try to secure his gold right now, though. He's not really going to be pushing out, I think, at this point. One Hellion's not worth it.
Nope.
Oh.
It's kind of funny that Hellion is there.
Yep.
Sitting on top of those burrowed Banelings. Does have control of the watchtower. Oh, he does scan.
Now, yeah. Alright, so those Banelings will be taken out. jjakji playing very careful, but there's a big attack of the natural.
Huge counterattack. SCV is trying to get in the way to block those Zerglings out.
Oh, look at that.
But the Banelings will have none of that.
jjakji way out of position here, losing all the SCVs at his natural. And looks like the Mutas should be able to escape. Oh no, getting a little bit trapped by the Marines. He's got to be kind of careful. He's losing a lot of Mutas.
Yeah,
wow.
Those Mutas are trapped, but I don't think jjakji is really going to take advantage of. Well, let's see if he does. He's just going to let those Mutas out. Yeah, he actually killed about 30 SCVs in that attack.
Yeah.
That was actually huge because now Czech is way ahead in economy. But again, jjakji with a really large army could still just counterattack and stomp down on him if he wanted to. It depends on if he wants to try and defend, try and get that third up or not.
He's got kind of a terrifying army right now. Siege mode has finished finally. So this push is even going to be deadlier than the last one. Not really many Banelings out right now. Only 4 Banelings for Czech Prime. And he does see the Banelings on the ramp as well.
Oh my god, there's a ton of Zerglings.
And he's going to try to flank. Oh no, he might just be going for a counterattack instead.
Yeah, he is. He's sending his mutas back in. He's sending those Zerglings back in, and jjakji is just going to retreat to his main and get out of there. That's a smart move.
Oh,
he needs to get that depot up. Siege mode goes up as well. He's not going to be able to repair that depot. The Zerglings get in. The SCVs are not in the best spot to block, and it looks like these Zerglings are going to do tons of damage with the mutas overhead, and jjakji may just get into a base trade situation. jjakji's bringing his entire army back home, though, instead of counterattacking.
Well, I mean, I feel like jjakji had the stronger army at this point. He's going to be easily able to push back Czech Prime with this. He lost a lot of his SCVs, in fact, all of them almost. He's down to just 3. So, you know, when you're in that position, when you've lost all those SCVs, is it really worth it, you know, to come home? I mean, you're not going to be able to use your production buildings anyway at this point. So, I don't know. Kind of a questionable decision to go home.
It was actually really not a good idea at all, because now jjakji has 3 SCVs. You're not going to come back from that. I mean, you want to come home if you think that you can defend and then
well, he needs to make this
defend
push
a third
right
base
now.
or something like that, but he's just not going to be able to. He's got 4 SCVs now. But yeah, he basically needs to win with this push, or he is done. And
it is a pretty scary push. Let's make no mistake there. Using the scans to check out for burrowed Banelings. Pushing in right now. Does Czech Prime have what it takes to beat this? I don't know. Oh, no Marine Micro means he might.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
Lost a lot of Marines there. That is exactly what Czech Prime needed.
Yeah, I think Czech has this game now. jjakji needed to win with this push, but I think he's just got so few Marines now that he's not going to be able to push it home. He's going into the main here, but there are Banelings coming back. There's Banelings morphing in that main as well. And don't forget the mutas.
Production buildings being taken down right now by Czech Prime. No more scans because his command centers are lifted or destroyed right now. Oh, he did land one again, but does it have any energy? No, it doesn't have enough energy for a scan, so all those drones are relatively safe.
Yep, it's just a race at this point, but
yeah, he's got enough mutas where he can basically just take this out right now, and he knows it. He's going for it. His mutas are a little bit low on health, though, but with the drones coming in as well, that should be about it. Looks like Czech Prime is going to get himself a win. And Czech Prime, believe it or not, is our leader right now and wins. He is 2-0.
That he is, man.
Who expected that?
I actually did not expect that at all.
I thought maybe we would see something like this. I said at the start that, you know, I thought he was improving lately in the last month or two. And jjakji learned that firsthand. jjakji, you know, like we said, he's good, but is he Code S good? You know, is he Code S level? That game he sure didn't look it.
No, I mean, the lack of micro, and this is actually, even against Lucira, he didn't really split his Marines much at all against Banelings.
Yeah.
And in this case, he definitely didn't at all. Decision making a little bit funky as well. If he just attacked when his base got rampaged, he would have won the trade. I'm pretty certain of it, because it would have been close. He went all the way home and went all the way back. And Czech still barely had enough to defend that push when he went all the way back, which means that's a full, like, 3 minutes that he was building units to try and defend the push again. I don't know. I think he would have won a trade, and I think it was kind of a bad move to go home to save nothing. He had nothing left at home, really.
Well, it's one of those situations, too, where the player can be a little bit nervous. It's hard to make that call, you know, am I going to go for the base trade or not?
I'm not saying he actually necessarily had all the information to make that call. He didn't know what Czech had.
That's true, too. Yeah, that's true, too.
So it's really interesting. Anyway, now Czech, though, even though he's up 2-0, he has not played Lucira or MC yet.
Yeah,
so he still has his toughest competitors to face up against, and if he goes 2-2, still is not a guarantee that he could go into Code S, depending on how everything stacks up. So we're still going to have to see how that works. Now, Lucira is at 1-1. and he's going up against Kyrix in our next game. So this is a must-win situation. It's going to be a relatively easy win, I would say, for Lucira, knowing how good of ZVZ he has.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, ZVZ, it's such a dynamic matchup. It's tough, but Lucira has beaten Kyrix before. Map is going to be Tal'Darim Altar. It's a bigger map, of course. Like you mentioned, it's a must-win situation.
Definitely a must-win
for Kyrix.
situation.
If he loses this, he's going to be 0-3, and that basically means he's going to be in Code
That means he has no chance.
Code A next season.
Yeah. If he loses this game, Kyrix is in Code A, period.
Yep. But if he wins this game, he's going to be 1-2, and that would tie him with Lucira. So that's a completely different story. So this is one of the biggest games yet in this match.
That is the case, man. We are going to get started here in just a minute on Tal'Darim Altar. Lucira versus Kyrix.
Look at that
newer
APM.
hero Zerg versus the old school Baneling Zerg. Who's going to win here in the GSL?